beautiful day here today, and I'm getting ready to do a little machine embroidery. It's been a while since I have filmed any machine embroidery, so I thought I would just bring you along with me the way I do once in a while. So yesterday I bought this little pug design. Turn him around. And it's a pug puppy, and he's black, and I have pugs, and then my best friend also has pugs, and her pugs are black, and I have a couple black pugs, but mostly fawns. And she just had a beautiful litter of 7 puppies from one of her girls, and they are all black. So I thought I'd send her a little congratulatory gift, you know, because she got this beautiful litter of puppies. So this design, I got this from a company called Oh My Crafty Supplies. I'll put the link in the description or in the comments, and this design was $1.35. And I stitched it out yesterday and did this towel, and it stitched out just beautifully. I don't run my machine terribly fast, so the stitching took about 30 minutes, but I didn't have to do anything. I cleaned house and started the supper meal, and I did some other things while this was stitching out. I didn't have to sit there and change threads. It's all one color, and fiddle with things. I just pushed the start button and went on about my day. These little towels I got from my local Dollar General, and they're not very great towels. They're just, you know, I think they were, I don't remember how much they were, but they were very inexpensive, as you might guess, from the dollar store. I think I got 3 of them. So, but it did work great for the embroidery, didn't have any trouble at all. This is the design. Once you purchase a design online and you download it, and if you want to move it to a USB, you can do that. But this is what the printout is in the PDF. There's always a PDF. You have to open the folder once you get it downloaded. And this was $1.35, as I mentioned, and I got 4x4, 5x7, and 6x10 sizes for $1.35. They're all in the just one-time payment, and got all these sizes. And again, it was Oh My Crafty Supplies. Terrific little place to get some fun embroidery for your machine. So if you need help downloading and moving files to a USB stick, I do have another video on my channel that you can look for. In fact, there might be 2. So just look that up and you can see how easy it is. And what I have the Bernina 770, so you're going to see me download and save the file extension for my machine, but these designs come with all file extensions. So if you have a different brand of machine, you can definitely use it. So here we go. Let's get this out of the way. And I'm going to use my large oval hoop. That's what size fits. The 5x7 is what I want to do. And so I've got my large oval hoop here. And I've cut a piece of tearaway. This is a medium weight tearaway. And I just cut it across the roll. I buy really long rolls so that they will fit in my jumbo hoop also. And I've kind of figured out how to cut it so that I hardly waste any. stabilizer for any of the other sizes of the hoops that came with my machine. So I'm gonna just hoop up this tearaway stabilizer, and I'm on a nice flat surface. And now I'm going to burp my hoop just a little bit, which means I'll bring out just a little of the inner hoop on the outside. Just a little bit, not much, but you always want to burp your hoop. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to take my little screwdriver that came with my, it came with one of my presser feet. A 1/4 inch presser foot, I believe. And I'm going to tighten my hoop. And I don't want to tighten it too tight. This little screwdriver has an open end that's kind of rubbery, and I use it to tighten my hoops. So you don't want to tighten your hoop too tight, because the more you pull it in this way, the worse it goes out this way. So there's kind of a sweet spot. So you want it to sound kind of like a little drum. And you can see that I have quite a bit extra here. Well, I am definitely going to use that with this project. 2 layers is always better than 1 on stabilizer, pretty much no matter what you're doing. So when I get over to my machine, after I get my towel on here, and I'm all situated and ready to go, I'm going to float this under my hoop. I'm not going to spray it with 505 or anything like that, but you can kind of see the shadow of it underneath here. That's where it's going to live. It's just going to be floated under my hoop. And when I do my basting box, which I'll show you how to do that, it'll tack it down. So that's why I don't need any spray or glue or anything. So there we have that ready to go. We're all hooped up and ready to go. And another thing I'm going to need is some water-soluble stabilizer that I can put on top, because my towel has a nap. Anything that has a raised design, some sort of loopy nap, you'll need a topper. And sometimes I use a topper on things that don't have a nap, but they need it because the whole purpose of a water-soluble topper is to get your threads to lay right on top of your project, whatever you're doing. Okay, so I put the tag, I think, at the top on the other one. So this is going to be right side up, and this is down here is the bottom of my towel. So, and this is right side out. So I'm going to fold this wrong sides together, and I'm going to make it nice and straight across the bottom, and bring in my hoop. And this towel actually has to be stitched. If you're going to use your large oval hoop, it has to be stitched sideways. So I'm going to teach you how to rotate a design. When we get over to the machine, I'm going to teach you how to rotate a design in the machine. But to make this work, we have to put the towel in this way. So I'm going to get over here so you can see. So here we are, and I'm still not using any spray, but you could. For a beginner, it would be a great idea. That way your towel doesn't scooch all around on you. And I don't use sticky back tearaway on towels, on these kind of towels, because it pulls the little loops when you take it off. So, and I'm just lining it up with the marks on my hoop. And now I'm going to unfold it very gently and carefully so I don't wiggle it, and then I'm going to just kind of lay this up over there, and I'm going to take my topper and my piece that I'm going to float underneath, and we're going to go and get to the machine and start our embroidery. Well, I've already turned my machine on, but I don't have my design pulled up just yet. We're going to need to rotate it a little bit so it fits in the oval hoop. I do have my feed dogs down. Your machine will prompt you when you go through the door into the embroidery side of your machine, and it will ask you to do several things. And the first thing it wants you to do is to lower your feed dogs. So I've already done that. So I'm ready to pull up my design, which is on a USB stick, and it's in the end of my machine. So I'm going to go up here to my USB icon, and I'm going to try to pull you in so you can see that little tiny black icon at the top. That's my USB stick, and the others are folders that are full of wonderful things, but I'm just going to take my stylus and touch the USB stick, and because I only have, for a change, one thing on my USB stick, there it is. So I'm going to tap the design, and there it is in my oval hoop. Since I'm doing the 5x7 size, I've already told my machine that I'm using the 26-foot and the single hole stitch plate. Those are very important functions that you must tell your machine, that you are using the 26-foot and the 0mm stitch plate. Okay, so now we are going to have to turn this. So we need to know how to do that, and nothing on the screen here looks like it's a rotating icon. So we need information, and the I stands for information. So we'll click the I, and there are all of our doorways into doing all kinds of things. So as you might imagine, this little circular deal here is going to turn this design, and I can turn it one step at a time, or I can turn it 90 degrees at a time. And since I know I just need to flip it, turn it around, I'm going to do it 90 degrees at a time. So I'm going to tap 90 degrees, 90 degrees, and there it is, all set. So now I'm going to close out of this, and I'm going to, if I were going to do anything else, I would be using my information button, and I would resize it, or I might add something to it, or you know, like we rotated it, different things. When you're done editing and doing all the things to it that you want to do to it, now we're going to tell the machine that it is exactly the way we want it, and this is what we want to stitch out. And we do that by touching the needle, and it tells the machine, okay, we're done editing, we're ready to stitch. So we'll touch the needle. And now when you're getting ready, especially if you are new to Bernina and you haven't done this very often, there is a step-by-step process to attaching your hoop. And your machine's going to ask you for a couple of little helping things that you get to do. It doesn't ask you for much, but it does a little bit, and those little ones are very important. And right now you can see it's moving the hoop side to side, forward and backward. So it isn't asking to have the hoop attached. It's asking to move the arm. The little stabilizer in this hoop is green. So, you know, it lets you know that that's not going to be your stitching hoop. It's not asking you to put the hoop on. It's asking to move the arm. The reason the hoop is moving is because this arm is moving. So we're going to tell it, okay, and we're going to hit this green check mark, and the arm will move. Now, it's asking to have you put the hoop on. It's saying, please attach the hoop by pinching the little knobs on the hoop and pressing it down. Pinch and put down. So we'll do that. And I have my towel laid on here, so I'm going to put this on very carefully because I don't want to disturb the way I have my towel laying on here. And I'll just reach under here. So let me scoot you out so you can see. So I'm just very carefully, I'm putting my towel underneath my machine and near the arm where I'm going to attach it, and I'm going to pinch in my hoop knobs and attach it. So here I go. Very gently, it's on. And my screen has changed, so I'm going to take you back to the screen after I get my little fold out of the way here. So let's go back up here and look back at the screen again. So now my screen has changed, and it's asking to move the arm again. And the reason it wants to move the arm this time is to put it to the first stitch of the design. So we'll touch the green check mark, and it's going to move down here. It's going to move to where the first stitch would take place if we were going to do that. But I don't have this sprayed or stuck down or anything like that. So I need a basting box to hold my towel. And this little icon right here that is the square with the stitches around it is the basting box. So I'm going to tap that icon, and my hoop moves to the corner, and it's ready to stitch a basting box. So I'm going to move you down, and I am going to pull up my bobbin thread, which is something I always do. And of course, what do we need? We need our topper. We don't want to take any stitches on a napped fabric without a topper. So I'm going to go ahead and lower my needle and pull up my bobbin thread. And I'm just very gently going to pull that up and get my tweezers. I always use tweezers. And when you're embroidering, remember what I've always told you. Keep your fingers far, far away. So now I'm just going to gently hold these threads, and we are going to do our basting box. If you think you have to have your fingers in the way in the stitch field, use something, I don't know, a chopstick or something that is going to keep your fingers back. Okay, so I'm going to trim this, and we'll get rid of that. And now we're ready to begin stitching our design. I've got my basting box on, my toppers on, and I need to put my floating piece of stabilizer underneath here, and I'm just going to slide it under here just like I was putting something in an envelope. You could slide it in from the other side too if you want to. Make sure it's coming out the other side. And I'm going to press my start button, and here we go. decided I don't want this thread in the way. There we go. Now we're cooking. And you can see, I'm going to show you a couple of things. The machine is stitching, and I'm at, oh, I might be just a little bit past halfway on my speed button. This is the speed button. This is the button I used for my needle up down. Just touch this, the needle goes down and back up and grabs your bobbin thread for you. And over here is the screen for my embroidery that I'm doing, and it's telling me 38 minutes. This screen will tell you an awful lot of information if you are doing something very involved, but this isn't very involved. It says 38 minutes right here. There's my bobbin icon, and I usually start with a full bobbin, but I know that I have enough on this bobbin to do this design. It wasn't full when I started, but it's okay. And I wanted to show you how I have my thread set up. I talked to Michael about this, our Michael from our Bernina groups. He's my go-to guy for questions and help, and is a wonderful source of information and encouragement too, and strength, to me anyway, for which I'm very thankful. But Michael told me I should go ahead and share this. It isn't probably the way Bernina would have you do something, but this works. So I'm going to show you. So I'm going to take you back out so you can see a little bit, and you'll see my dusty workspace. So let me turn you a little bit. Here is my thread. There's my thread. And I just have it sitting here. It's not in a jar. It doesn't have a thread net. I don't own a multiple spool stand. And this is polyester embroidery thread, and this is sulky. And the thread, I just have it going up, 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 and you can see it go over my machine and through this thread guide, and then on over and threaded as usual. And that has always, always, always worked. So if you're having troubles, you don't want to use a thread net, you don't have a multiple spool stand, try this and see if you can get it to work. Mine just works perfectly like this, and sometimes I think we have to become engineers to get our machines to do what we want them to do. Instead of saying, when something goes wrong, instead of saying, gosh, Bernina should have thought this through. First of all, look into your own techniques. That's what you should do first. See if you've miscalculated something, misthreaded, unthreaded by accident, or if you need to try a different technique. These machines are the top of the line. They are wonderful machines. They will do anything you ask them to, and if they can't do it, they'll try. Bernina is a workhorse, and if you aren't happy with your Bernina and you can't make it do what you want it to do, ask for help. Talk to your dealer. Your dealer is there for you and wants you to talk to them. They want to help you. They want you to love your machine. And I do too. And I don't sell Bernina. I am in no way compensated for anything I say or do for Bernina. I just love them. I love these machines. They are wonderful machines, and I am 69 years old, and I have sewn since I was 14. And I have sewn on Singers, Foth, Elna, oh man, I don't know, others. There have been some others, and I have worn 2 machines completely out in my lifetime. And this Bernina is the best machine I have ever owned. So you can see our little pug puppy is stitching out, and I still have 31 minutes left, so I'm going to let you rest, and I'll stop talking about how much I love Bernina and how passionate I am about the company. And I will be back when our little pug puppy is finished stitching, and we'll unhoop it and take a good look. See, here we go. We're all done. There is the front of my little towel, and here is the back. So we're going to take off this is the one we floated, the piece of tearaway that we floated, and get most of that off of there. We'll make sure we cut any jump stitches that are hanging out. There we go. Alright, I'm going to take it out of the hoop, and I'm going to take out my basting box. There we go. Put my hoop away. Okay. And so now then, let's take out our basting box. Get me some tools here. Here we go. Need a stiletto and a seam ripper. So I'm going to clip the threads at all 4 corners. This is what I usually do, but you might have a technique that works for you, that works better. Usually if you can get a hold of the bobbin thread, you can pull it right out. There we go. Okay, I think we've got it all out of here. Let's go ahead and tear the rest of our tearaway off of here. And this tearaway will stay in here for a while, but as you wash the towel over and over, it'll get less and less, but it doesn't look bad. All right. Let's take away our threads. This topper that I used, this is a melt-away topper. It is similar to water wash-away, and it will wash out some. So let's tear it off. It has, melt-away has a side that is rough. This is the rough side, and a side that's smooth. So you'll always put the smooth side up and the rough side down when you use this. And then we're going to take it over to the iron and we'll melt away all this in here, and I'll be right back. This is kind of what melt away topper does. It sort of rolls up, it's kind of little rolls, and you just brush them off. And you can put your iron directly on it. Won't hurt anything. This iron has a ceramic coat. This is a Panasonic. I love it. And there's my little pug puppy, all done. Got all the stabilizer off. And we just rub off the little bits of heat away that have stuck on there. There we go. Here we go. There's our little pug puppy all done. Let me bring you down. You can see him a little better. Cute little doggy on a towel. Alrighty, well there we go for today. Just kind of a fun little embroidery stitch along. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you'll make something pretty and post it on the Bernina group. And I hope you have a great rest of the day.